I wasn't even sure that button was going to fully work. I haven't used it in a while. Welcome back, this is Jack. Hey, it's me. I'm streaming. Couldn't you believe it? Jack is streaming! No, I usually stream on my Jack Daedalus channel, which is my personal one. This one, I didn't know what to stream on here. I kind of wanted to do a talk show kind of thing on here, but trying to find stories to talk about all the time just like exhausted me, so I just gave up on it. But I figured out, let's do a show called This Week in Anime, because I love talking about what's been going on in anime and manga and stuff like that. And if there was comic book stuff I actively followed, I'd probably be talking about that too. And if there's any cool tech stories that come up, I'd probably want to talk about it here too. But right now, all I have is the animes I watched throughout the week, and I wanted to talk about what's been going on in them. Now, there are some that I'm going to mention that I don't actively watch. I'm either letting them get ahead, or because of the show's nature, it exhausts me, and I just don't want to deal with it all the time. But I'll explain them, and then I'm also going to end every episode, which should be every Saturday if I keep to the mental schedule of it. Is sorry, I got a weird hair on my arm. This is my hair tie. For an anime recommendation for an anime that is already, I'm going to say finished. Some of them just won't have a second season. But you don't have to wait for new episodes to come out unless they start a new season. Some of them are straight up a finished show. You don't need to worry about a second season unless they're just milking it for money. But anyway, I think the first one I have accidentally selected I don't want to use. But we're going to go ahead, and this is an example of one I don't watch the newest episodes of. At least not initially. I usually wait. So let's get going. Button should do the trick. Alright. Newgate. You've heard it. It's basically being described as the new SAO. And I feel that's an appropriate description. Basically, the premise starts with like the concept of SAO where characters are trapped in a game and it's a life or death game, and if they die there, they die IRL. And the main character solos the final dungeon, freeing everybody, but he gets pulled 500 years into the game's future. Now, I don't know if like IRL 500 years have passed or just in the game or yada yada yada. But he finds that all the NPCs in the world have become very sentient and think of all the previous players as these people called high humans. And he's OP as all hell. Like, the only time he's nerfed is because he's not using all of his abilities. He's literally turning them off in the game. Because they're called titles or something weird like that. And it's just a power fantasy trip. Like, if that's what you want, which sometimes it is fine to have a great power fantasy trip. There's a couple of animes I watch when I need that kind of feeling going. But this one is, this one tries to play it off, like, to me, a proper power fantasy trip is when, the show's unapologetic about it. Like, the show's not only unapologetic about it, but it's upfront that this is a power fantasy trip. So, one example would be, what's his name? The Misfit at Demon Academy. At no point does the character feel like he's at a disadvantage. And this one is like, oh, I might be in trouble now. No, you're not. We both know you're not. You're going to pull out a new weapon. You're going to use a new ability or something. Blech. There's no reason for it. There really is. Now, if they're going to do because he's just trying to hide his abilities. That's the only reason. And that always annoys me in, effectively, this is an isekai. Isekai stories where the character's like, well, I don't want to get busted. And even one of the animes I really like is very guilty of it, so. Anyway, but yeah, this is the Newgate. I haven't seen the newest episode, so this is one of the ones I don't actively watch, but I will eventually watch the new episode of. Alright, we're gonna go to the next one. This one, I'm pretty sure, is on a lot of people's radars. It's very insanely broadcasted and talked about. It's one of the few ones I've seen drop both in English and Japanese at the same time, and it's good in both. I watch both English and Japanese. I'll go back and forth. Every episode usually gets watched in both, so I can give y'all an opinion on the dub and sub version. Because there are some animes that I feel you have to watch in dub every so often. My Hero Academia is actually specifically an example. And that's because some of the voice actors I really do enjoy do it in English. And not to mention, All Might in English just feels appropriate. The voice actor for Aizawa is amazing, and the voice actor for Mirio, aka La Million, is amazing. But anyway, this is one of the ones that English and sub and dub is released simultaneously, and it's really good. And it's Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8 is an interesting story involving more like what a realistic, semi-realistic world would be if Kaiju were a real thing. Now, I don't know if it's a worldwide thing. We only see it in Japan, but that's one of the things that, I'm not going to say irks me, but it's where the fantastical concept is not addressed on the other side of the world or in the rest of the world. I'll actually bring up Shield Hero about this in a second. You have like My Hero Academia that kind of vaguely mentions that there are heroes in the world, but they don't tell you like the situation in it. They vaguely mention that crime is much higher in the other countries because they didn't have All Might, which feels odd because they had Stars and Stripes, who was pretty close to All Might's power, but that's because of her ability being OP as hell. And I'm not going to talk about Stars and Stripes because I'm pissed off about how well they wrote her and then kill her off in 2 episodes. No, sorry, that's actually a problem. Anyway, Kaiju number 8 is legitimately good. Today's episode, if you haven't seen it already, was really good. It sets up an escalation of what the humanoid Kaiju is. This is me talking without spoilers. It sets it up, and it continues to show the skills of some of the characters. Specifically, these two get a lot of love. He gets some love. She doesn't show up at all. And it shows like his intelligence, like how powerful it really is. How powerful on the field it really is. So it does a great job. Like, something that always bothers me is animes. Naruto is the biggest culprit in my opinion, of where they create these interesting characters, but they give them no love and attention. They don't give them a chance to grow or show their great assets. A great example would be Tenten in Naruto. Tenten was supposed to be like this world class at I forget what it's called where you throw weapons. She was supposed to be world class at it, and they could have had her develop Kinjitsu, which is using a sword. I think that's Kinjitsu. And just had her as this ultimate weapon expert, and had her do more. Like, the only time she has to shine, the only moment she has to shine, is literally during the final war arc, where she's like picking up all these legendary weapons and just using them. And they're like, "You need all this training." She's like, "I've got this." And that kind of irks me. Not to mention because she gets these legendary weapons, and during the final showdown, you don't see her using them. I don't remember, at least. I could be wrong. But no, Kaiju number 8, the episode is really good. It sets up the next little segment. I'm not going to call it an arc. It might be an arc. Where the main base for Battalion, Squadron 3, or whatever is attacked, which is where these characters are. And you really do get to see some setup for what's coming, and it's going to be good. I know what happens, but it's really good. And you get to see the Vice Captain really show you what he's capable of. You guys can kind of see some of the names at the top of the Chrome browser if you really look. Although a lot of you are just saying watch the... Alright. Y'all didn't think this was on the list. Y'all are dumb. That time I got reincarnated as a slime 3rd season. We were finally getting a little bit more combat, and I know this is following the manga very well. Don't get me wrong. And I'm enjoying it. I like the story. Mind you, I like the slow pacing of the story too. I like the meeting episodes where they do world building. I understand that that's not everybody's thing. I get that. I really do. Alright, I got my second screen up on it. Watch, and I want to make sure I was actually transmitting. Anyway, so even the episodes where not a lot happens, it's just a lot of talking and world building, I actually do enjoy that. So when they were doing the 7 episodes at the beginning of the season to set up the coming conflict with Hinata and the Loomis Church, I was excited for it. I really enjoyed the episode where you got to see Shion and the other members of Rimuru's team shine, where you get to see that they're Demon Lord at least level. They're obscenely powerful in their own right. Or Demon Lord Seed level. Maybe not Demon Lord, but Demon Lord Seed level. Especially you got to see Shion shine. In this episode, actually straight up has Raphael tell Rimuru, Shion can probably hurt you, you know that, right? And the funny thing is that like Rimuru reacts, I would have preferred he had reacted with, yeah, I kind of know. Because that's been a running trope where she does hurt him. Like, it's like the Goku and Chi-Chi thing. But anyway, and as I mentioned in my video, there's no way she'd betray him. There legitimately is no way. Anyway, that's not the important part to all this. This episode, and then the previous episode where you got to see Diablo start taking the gloves off, and you got to see, I forget the name of the wolf guys, you get to see him just play with the enemy army. Same with Diablo. Diablo's just like, oh, you guys are the top of the church? Let's have fun. Because actually I feel that the Crusader Paladin guys are actually the top of the church, the Sword Saints, not the 7-day week guys. Because they require, like, they're the highest clerics. And they require, like, the field to be stacked in their favor to be at an advantage. As we found out in this episode, we actually get to see them do something. Like the only reason they survived Benimaru and I forget the name of the ninja guy's attack is because they had a your attack can't pierce this barrier thing, which Shion said, "Ha, nice try," because we already know her attacks can alter reality, and the ability they were using was altering the rules of reality, and she just wrote it back. So, but now my issue with it is that the resolution to both episodes was too quick. That's my one complaint. Yes, that's how it's written in the manga. But the anime, as they do with like One Piece, they stretch out these fights a little bit intentionally to give it a little bit more runtime, maybe. And since the anime and the webcomic or light novel is so far ahead, you don't have to worry about catching up, so they don't have to do that. But I would have enjoyed. You don't have to show the character struggling at all. I feel that just like you could even give them more time to flex, like straight up, just more time to flex. Because we did have a lot of episodes of like setting up this, which what sounded like it was going to be this tough fight, and you have all these characters just steamrolling, and then you finally get Diablo given the permission of go ahead, take your gloves off, and that was awesome. Like it was described, he took the 3 7-day week guys that were trying to fight him and crumbled them up like a newspaper, and that's probably the most accurate description. So we already knew Diablo was obscenely powerful, but it was nice to see him just like take these guys and say, "Ha, nice." Because for those who don't know, the Black Numbers is consistently probably Rimuru's most powerful squad. If nothing else, just because it's led by Diablo, and it gets more powerful. Believe it or not, it gets more powerful. In fact, it will always be tactically straight power-wise, the most powerful of Rimuru's forces. However, Shion's forces are more crafty. Which sounds weird because considering how she fights, but they are more tactically the most dangerous. Because the main 100 members, because later on it merges with another team, is it can't be killed. There's like only a handful of ways you can harm them permanently, but you can't kill them. They're spiritual beings. They can't die. They just reform their body every time, and they get more powerful about it anyway. That team, and because of that, Shion is actually considered at least in his top 5, with the first 3 being all in the Black Numbers. But I feel that's cheating. But no, Shion is up. Actually, Shion may actually be only behind Diablo, considering the ultimate skill she develops later, called Susanoo. For those who want to know, Susanoo's ability is you take the enemy's magicule's energy and then make it your own. So if anybody throws a magic spell at you, you just take the power. It becomes yours. That's what that does. So yeah, Shion is at least in his top 5, debating if she's in the top 3. Because otherwise, you're just going to say the 3 commanders of the Black Numbers are. This anime, for those who don't know, it has an interesting spin on the concept of magic. It has old school magic where it's like ritualistic. But they have newer school magic idea where they use it as a form of engineering, like a science thing. They have these CADs, casting assistant device, which I hear CAD and I think of Common Access Card, which is a Navy or military thing. And with it, like there's gun variant and there's a wrist variant, and you can have 2 of them, which if you have enough spells. But basically, it's pre-programmed spells, pre-programmed spells that you can just cast. But you still have to psychically activate them. That's why it's talking about scions there at the bottom. And so the main character, he can't cast 90% of spells. He can only do one type of magic proficiently, and he makes him obscenely OP. And he's kind of broken, like literally broken. You find out later on, the only way he's able to feel normal human emotions is if it's related to his sister. If he gets angry, it's because someone threatened his sister. If he gets jealous, it's because his sister shows affection, which hasn't come up. She gets the one jealous because a lot of women fawn over him because, of course, it's an anime. And literally, the one issue I have with this anime, and this happens in the manga straight up, is they're brother and sis con. They straight up love each other. It's not they play off of it to mess with people. No, they straight up legitimately love each other. In fact, spoilers, in the manga, they do get married. They straight up get married. And it's something I don't like, especially because there's a lot of women that do show him a lot of love and affection, and he's incapable of returning it. But anyway, This new episode continues to build into the main character, well, more than just the main character, the war that's going on with the ancient magic users, and their little, I'm gonna call it mini rebellion against the modern magic users, because pride. But what brought it up beforehand is that the ancient magic users were trying to basically make the Japanese government look like they were weaponizing all magic users, which they kind of are, to be honest. Whereas the main character is trying to break that, and they were trying to weapon. And it's complicated. This is a good anime to watch. It is, if you can get over the brother and sis con. I'm not gonna lie, because it gets really creepy a lot of times. Even the other characters in the show goes, y'all's love is kind of creepy. Not gonna lie. But yeah, he's insanely OP. His sister's like probably the most powerful ice magic user, like obscenely. So it's pretty good. It does have its moments. And it does a good job with its side characters. Alright, Windbreaker. Y'all might have heard about this one. This one takes the trope of like the high school troublemaker and does like the School of Hard Knocks things, where there's like a school that is dedicated, if you're in high school, that's dedicated for them to gather and go to school. The story picks up with this character right here, Sakura. I just knock over. Oh, my drawing pen. Sakura. Who his whole life, because of his hair and his eyes, because he has heterochondria and that's his natural hair, has been insulted and attacked. So he just developed a love for fighting and beating the crap out of people who think they're strong but aren't. So he goes to the school thinking he's going to be at the top. And almost immediately they get into a Hakura Sakura is his name, which is gets into a fight with another group who I can't remember their Japanese name, but their group name is effectively like something strongest. And so they get into a fight of basically like their top 5 versus the characters you all see right here. And except for him, he doesn't fight. He's basically Zenitsu in this world, where he's not physically strong or able to fight. He's just really smart and able to understand what the opponent's doing. But he doesn't fight. He just gives advice to the others and cheers them on. Anyway, and you get to find out why he's so good, why he's so strong. It's not just that he's a great fighter, but he also motivates and empowers those around him. And he's voiced by Gojo. So people are calling him the new Gojo, which I'm pissed off at Jujutsu Kaisen, so I will not be talking about that no matter what. I got copyright strike because of that shit, or because of that manga. I'm not talking about it. I don't care. If you bring it up, I will answer what I can, but then I'm going to shut the fuck up. Not gonna branch onto it because I'm too pissed off at it. Plus, I hate the ending arc going on. Yeah, this is a good anime. I do recommend it. And the most recent one is pretty much like the epilogue to the last the tournament fight, where he kind of starts just talking to him and explaining what was going on, which it's kind of needed. But after like the fast pace of the last like couple episodes, like 6 episodes, it feels really slow. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's needed. It's not like the 7 episodes of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Alright, I'm gonna catch shit for watching this one. I have a thing for like romance shows, just, especially if it's got like a good fantasy side to it. And I can explain why if you really want to know. Comment section if you want me to explain it in the episode. But anyway, we finally get a resolution and explanation for why the head angel paladin guy, what his deal was. And spoilers, he's nowhere near as bad as everybody thought. Like, the only reason he had killed 499 sorcerers is because they came after him. He actually didn't want to kill any of them. And also the dragon he was known for killing, Ouroboros, he didn't kill. The dragon was already dying and said, I want you to live, and he gave him his blood and flesh, because in this world, eating and drinking the blood of a dragon and their flesh makes you superhuman. We get into resolution, we get the explanation. There's a lot of good action scenes to it and a lot of good explanation. It was a really good episode. This one's been out for a little bit, so you should have had time. This one's got some good sub and dub, by the way, and it's got a lot of adorableness. So it hasn't had any heartbreaking episodes, except for like past stories where they're talking about why this character is the way they are. But there's no like episodes that are gonna make you cry. There's no Edward episodes. Actually, I cry more over Mace Hughes' death because his daughter crying, but that's another question. That's another conversation. Alright, Remonster. For those who don't know, Remonster is where an assassin from another world gets killed, reincarnates in another world as a lowly goblin. And in this world, goblins, or monsters as a whole, as they level up, they can evolve into higher forms. And I think he reaches his final form in this episode, but he's now at this point an ogre or an oni. I can't remember which. And as he eats other monsters, he gains new abilities repeatedly. He builds a harem because reasons of mixed races. He has some elves, he has some humans, he has some of the female ogres, and because he's the strongest and among the monster races, that draws them in, and among the humans, he has a pheromone ability, which is cheating. And they fall in love with him. And the big thing with this episode is the twin sisters, the ones who cook, turn out to be pregnant. And the problem with it is ogre or oni when pregnant can handle it because the babies are born fast and eat your fucking nutrients. Humans cannot. You actually watch them get skinnier. So it becomes a kind of a big deal. And he evolves again, and you get to see his kids. That sums that episode. It's a really good episode. Really good. Like, it has some really good building to it. Alright, this one sits in a special place in my heart. It's probably the one that got me watching isekais again, because I was exhausted. But Tsukumichi apparently is one of the earliest anti-isekais with the main character. So the main character, Makoto Misumi, he has the traditional trope of being obscenely powerful. When he shows up to be the hero, the goddess calls him ugly and yeets him to the other side of the world, where the monsters are. Where he starts uniting the monster races in his own pocket dimension after defeating this unbeatable dragon. And the story is not of him, like, going, here's my obscene power, and here's my obscene power, I'm going to conquer the world. It's him legitimately building a civilization. It has not the same level of world building, like 15 episodes in a row of meetings, that Slime does, and it has good combat in it, because even though he's obscenely powerful, it does show he can still get hurt, and he can't heal himself. And usually, more often than not, the reason he gets hurt is because he's still immature when it comes to actually fighting and using his powers. Plus, there's a lot of adorable characters, awesome characters, and it doesn't do, like, one of my peeves that happens quite a bit in animes is the trope of a character getting mind controlled and turning against their master or their friend or whatever. That depresses me and bothers me, because I've had a lot of friends turn on me. I've had a lot of friends betray me and use me. That's one of my biggest triggers, not gonna lie. Quick story on that, just as an explanation. One of the friends I grew up with were all toxic. So you all know, I grew up and they were toxic. They used me. I wasn't invited to something unless they needed someone to drive or someone to tend the campfires. I grew up in the woods. And, like, unless I reached out and got them to hang out with me, I was ignored. I found so many times they were just partying up and just forgot I existed. And then one of the guys I thought was a brother to me stole a bunch of family heirlooms and sold them because of his drug addiction. And our family forgave him so he wasn't going to jail because he just had a kid. But at the same time, it took everything I had not to beat the shit out of him. I said, because of our friendship that we once had, I'm not going to hurt you now, but if I ever see you again, there is a good chance I won't stop. And then I went in the Navy. But that's another story. This anime does not do that trope. There is a couple mind control characters, and you think they're setting it up to happen, but they immediately get shut the fuck down. And it also makes fun of a lot of the other anime tropes, such as the perfect girl who gets pulled over and the harem king gets pulled over. It's really good. I do recommend watching this one. If you watch no other anime, not joking, if you ignore all the other animes I was just talking about, watch this one. This is my favorite. I'll show you all my second favorite here in a second. It's actually 2 more now. Hey, Cool Walker. But yeah, this is the anime I recommend. Anyway, the current episode is where he's finally meeting for the first time one of the other heroes, and it turns out it's one of the girls who went to his school, and he recognizes her immediately, and he's like, fudge. He's wearing like a Sentai warrior outfit so that he doesn't get revealed, because he doesn't want to reveal how powerful he actually is. And there's reason for it. Who's messing? Hang on. I forget to put, because I have 2 computers, I forget to put one of them in stream mode. Okay. My older sibling just letting me know that they have tomorrow off. And he defeats the demon commander that had ruined Hibiki's life, effectively making her a genocidal person against demons, which she's an evil character. I have a video that talks about it. I haven't released it yet. It's coming up. And now like one of the few people who've ever injured him is now showing up to fight. Sophia Bolga. She's one of the few others who've beaten dragons. That's why she's called Dragon Slayer. And we get to find out more about her. We get to see Misumi fight her again. That's what's coming up. And you also get to see a lot. It's really good. I do recommend it. Sorry about that. Anyway, so if you watch no other anime, it's on Crunchyroll. Watch it. It's good. And apparently, this is one of the oldest anti isekais, where it doesn't play up the main character is the one who's supposed to be the hero. This one is the rejected one, and he's obscenely powerful because he was supposed to be. That's explained in a backhanded way. I'll maybe make a video explaining it. This show, I love hate. I love hate. It's got some cool moments in it, and it does something I was really exhausted with the main character being super altruistic and I must do the right thing. But I love hate this one. So here's why. One, I hate the art style for the kid, especially if you listen to it in dub, because I just don't like it. It looks like someone's trying to sexualize the little kid. I'm not gonna lie. That bothers the ever-loving hell out of me. Like, no joke. It just annoys me. However, it's got an interesting story. The main character, his sole existence, the sole thing he wants to do is to understand and practice magic. And because he's the 7th prince, he doesn't have to worry about ascending to a title, and he has access to all the resources he wants. And because he's apparently so adorable, everybody falls in love with him. And he also learns ki, interestingly enough, because it's another form of magic in his eyes. And the current episode, he gets into a fight with this guy who is possessed and controlled, and the real version of him dead by a demon. And they continue an annoying well, that's the previous episode. The current episode, you get to see her go ham for the first time, like her full abilities, not her holding back. Because she lost to a previous demon, but no sword was able to match her strength. So she got a new sword from the main character, because he learned how to make magic weapons. But it does the annoying trope of the isekai resurrected character who wants to hide his powers. And I get why. He hints it all the damn time and no one picks up on it. Like, she kind of knows. She kind of knows he's more powerful than he pretends, and like some of his siblings kind of think it. They can't prove it, but they're like, he's a lot more accurate with his ability. He misses his targets, but he misses in the same way every time. So they kind of pick up on it. But no, they do a good job of doing the trope of him wanting to learn his magic and fuck everybody else. But there's a couple times where he just blatantly is watching his friends and family start dying, and he's like, they don't die, and he's like, I'm gonna still practice this thing. So that does, when it gets that far, it does bother me, because it is not in your best interest to watch them die. Even if you're being selfish, it is not in your best interest. But yeah, this one's not bad, except for the problems I laid out. I swear the cops aren't after me. Actually, I'm pretty sure that was a fire truck. If you can get over some of the things I mentioned, it's not bad. I don't like the way he's drawn, but that's how he is in the manga. This is actually my second favorite anime I'm following right now, and the main character has no intention of being the hero. He's obscenely powerful, but he has no intention. At first, he just wants to live a quiet life. He basically marries her in the second episode. It was just a fake marriage to him. She's like, nope, we're married. And what makes me like this show so much is, one, there's just a lot of love and romance, and there's no harem. Like, it sets it up like he's gonna have a harem. There's no harem. And he actually eventually does, like, love her and marries her. And I like that. There's no, like, 12 episodes or more of will they, won't they, and he's just blushing and stuff. Like, no. He does fall in love. He does marry her, and they do get rather intimate. And I enjoy that. Because, one, I'm romantically starved. But two, it does do a good job of showing an alternate look at obscenely powerful characters and how they handle things. The most recent episode shows him starting to get involved in world affairs, but in his own way, where it's not him doing it, it's him, and he does it in his way, because he's not a violent person. He basically is trying to talk these demons who are invading the human, because the demons are sentient. They're just not bloodthirsty. They just kind of violent because they've been oppressed their whole lives. Humans been doing that for years, and And he is stopping them from attacking villages like, hey, I want you guys to leave, and showing it how futile for it is to get past them. And he's got his reason, but it's really good. It's really good. I do recommend this anime. It's my second favorite anime that's coming out right now. Recommend it. All right. Plus, these two as a relationship is adorable, and the opening with her singing is also adorable. It'll warm your heart. All right, this one does a really good job of several tropes simultaneously. The main character has like no other special ability than appraisal, which you see appraisal being super OP in a lot of animes, and he uses it. He's basically able to look at someone and see what their potential is. And he builds around himself a team of exceptional people so that he can protect protect the area he was given. And he does a really good job of it. I really do enjoy it. Like this guy right here, he describes as good as Oda Nobunaga. He'd had really no combat training before, but then quickly becomes one of the most feared soldiers in the whole military. She's had no magical experience, but he looks at her and he sees that she has insane potential. Basically makes the sky explode at one point. He is viewed as like this dumb, weak, pathetic kid by his family, but then shows that he's actually one of the most intelligent. He taught himself to read because he remembered his mom reading to him, even though he was like 2 when she died. He designs a boar trap that was like obscenely good, and this is his wife, fiance, and he sees that she's basically like the best diplomat ever, and he actually does kind of love her, and she loves him. It's kind of good. Like it's one of those romance things I really do enjoy. Yes, your potent is worth. Hang on, I'm having a hard time reading because there's a heart in the way. Yes, your potential is worth 3/5. Him by himself, like his only strength is that he recognizes the counsel of the people around him. He learns how to use a sword a little bit, but he's nowhere near that good. In the recent episode, he finds out why this one nation who is not involving itself in the Civil War is not siding with the people they're supposed to. And he reveals that they're being tricked to delay them from doing it. And he basically saves the lord of that kingdom. And it's really good. Once again, there's another person that kind of does and does not join his team. And it's another really interesting character. If you saw the previous episode, you know who I'm talking about. But this is actually a really good anime. I highly recommend it. I don't know if it has dub. Yeah, it doesn't have dub in English. I think it's out of a scale of 100. Oh, now I know what you're going with. The 3/5 compromise. Incidentally, this character is kind of treated like that because of his race. But basically he says to his father, who tries to force that idea, fuck you, we're recruiting him anyway. So his father's here in the background. He's dead. He dies in like the prequel of the first episode. And but then they kind of show what happens. But when he is able to duel him and like gets a single hit on him, which only like knocks a hair loose, he's like, nope, you're worth being in my forces. And then from then on, he kind of trusts his son almost every time he says, nope, this person's joining us. But I do recommend this anime. It's a really good one. It's still coming out, obviously, but I do recommend it. It doesn't have English dub. It's got Dutch, which is weird. It feels weird to have that. All right. Now we're going on to the anime that has finished my recommendation. This one is funny. Villainous level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the demon lord. This one is good. It has 12 episodes and it is finished. The main character is isekai'd into an otome game, but not as the main character and not as an NPC. She's isekai'd into the hidden secret boss who's level 99 at the end of the game. Instead of following the script, she still becomes level 99, but instead of following the script, she actively tries to avoid interfering with the plot at all. Doesn't become like the slightly antagonistic character throughout the series. She instead is someone who's rather helpful. Like, not intentionally, she keeps getting wrapped up in it because she's level 99, and the highest level character at the beginning of the series is level 10. Well, there's a level 60, but he's like in the capital. And the reason I like this is she's a really interesting character. It's entirely possible the character was designed to be autistic. She doesn't understand social interactions. she doesn't know how to understand people, which is a fairly common trope. Like if you watch it, you'll understand rather quickly that she may have been designed as autistic, and I really do enjoy it. It's got a lot of funny moments. I don't think of any like major sad moments in it. Like I can't think of any like Edward moments or fuck, I said his name, Mace Hughes dying. I might just randomly say Markiplier dying because that's what he looks like. But yeah, it's a good anime. I do recommend it. Almost every character makes you either love them or hate them. As an example, this is the main character of the actual Otome game. These are the guys that she's supposed to date / conquer, as it's referred to as. And these guys at the beginning of the series are complete assholes. They make you fucking hate them with a passion. But they kind of lighten up. This is her love interest she gets later on, and this is someone who actually is her friend. She doesn't want to be her friend, but she ends up being her friend. And she was supposed to be the rich girl asshole bitch to her in the original, but she kind of lightens up because of her. And it wasn't intentional. She's not malicious. It's just she's in love with the prince and wants to marry him. So she just, because of bad advice from her friends, her circle, she ends up becoming, in the original game, was going to be that. But this is a good one. I highly recommend it. Even if I spoiled like 90% of it, which I didn't yet, I do recommend watching this one. It has a lot of great and funny moments, just as her obliviousness to like normal society. I definitely recommend it. All right. Those have been this week in anime, and my one anime recommendation. Is there any that you guys recommend to me? I've got a huge watch list right now, and there's one I just finished last night. I was up until 4 in the morning finishing it because I didn't know there was a season 2. I'm hoping for a season 3 because it was really good. But if I had to explain it real fast, it's what if the isekai character became an artificer? That sums up the anime in question. Which I did recommend to Mad Techie. For those who know who he is, I recommended it to Mad Techie because when he plays D&D, the only class he plays is Artificer. And the character's an asshole. Like, if you've watched Shield Hero at some point, he's like him. He's an asshole who will destroy anyone who gets in his way. No matter their previous relationship, he will destroy them. He does not care. And, is Shinji down bad? In which one? What anime are you talking about, Peanut Head? Also, hi, Peanut Head. I'll show you all which anime I'm talking about real fast. This is the anime I'm talking about in question. If you want to go ahead and watch it ahead of me, this is the one I finished last night. This will probably be the one I recommend next week. But that's roughly what that one's about. Is what if the isekai character became an artificer? He does build a harem, so if you don't like harem animes, you won't like that detail, especially because his second wife is annoying as hell at first, and then his third one is a masochist. It gets really creepy sometimes, but whatever. And they also do the thing where like this little girl goes, "You're my dad!" Evangelion. I actually have not watched Evangelion. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I actually never watched it. I need to, just because I do like kaiju and giant robots. So I'll put that on my watch list. But no, I haven't seen it. Sorry, I can't answer that question. But I'll put that on my watch list. Actually, I'll do that now while I'm talking. Are you not in here? And it looks like Crunchyroll doesn't have it, so I'll have to find it somewhere. No, I heard it's epic. I've heard nothing but good things except for it's random as hell. I saw like the first 2 episodes, but I never finished it. I also have never seen Gundam by extension, but that's because I didn't know where to start. I just haven't bothered. I tried to watch like a prequel series at one point before Gundams were introduced, and it was annoying. I think I know what you're talking about, but let me look again. Hang on, I may have been spelling it wrong. Yeah, I'm not seeing Evangelion. Alright, I gotta show you all this. I'm typing Evangelion, and this is what comes up. This is kind of funny to me. This is on Crunchyroll. I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness. I kind of want to watch that. It sounds so bonkers. Hang on. Let's find out what this one's about. Hang on. Alan Crawford is a misanthropic sorcerer known as the Dark Lord. When he comes across Charlotte Evans, a nobleman exiled on false charges, his memories of being betrayed 3 years ago come rushing back. He decides to teach Charlotte all about the pleasures, vices, and joys of naughty living. Okay, so it's basically the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord. I'm gonna add it to my watch list. This sounds too funny not to watch, but it's basically him teaching a noble woman how to break bad. I find that hilarious. All right, but yeah, I'll watch Evangelion. Oh, Neon Evangelion. All right, let's see if that's there. Ah, not my bookmarks. Nope, not there either. I have several other choices, but not Neon Evangelion. You clearly don't know, like, webcomics, or sorry, light novels that get turned into animes. There are so many of them. Hang on, I think I've got a list. Let me pull up my whole list. I'll read you a few of them. These are the ones I actually was talking about earlier. I was reincarnated as the 7th prince so I could take my time mastering magic. Chilling in another world with level 2 super cheat powers. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise... I can't read the full thing. Villainous level 99, I may not be the hidden boss, but I'm not the demon lord. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of Otome games is tough. That's another one I'm going to talk about later. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled. That's another one I'll probably talk about later. Beaufree, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defenses. Oh, it's not on Crunchyroll? I'll look later for somewhere else. I'm just giving you a bunch of these names. There's so many of them. Reborn to Master the Blade, which he never uses a sword. From the Hero King to Extraordinary Swordsman. And let's see here. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world. I think one of the ones that is my favorite title is I got reincarnated as a spider, so what? It's probably my favorite title. It's also a good anime. I love this is breaking your brain, Peanut. I really do. By the way, if I'm looking up, I'm reading chat. If I'm looking here, I'm just talking directly to y'all. Yeah. Let me see if I can find a place to watch Evangelion so I can add it to like my my bookmarks. Go ahead. That's the whole reason for this segment of the me streaming like this. Oh, it's on Netflix. Okay, I got Netflix. Add it to my watch list on Netflix. I'm not gonna do that. I also need to watch Bakihama versus Kengan Ashura. If you hope someone's stove worked, emphasis on the word hope. Could you explain what you mean, or is that an anime you're talking about? Could you explain what you mean? Because I am confused. That feels like a Fire Force thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I couldn't watch Fire Force. It was just boring to me. It had good muscle mommy moments, but I couldn't watch it. It was just whatever. Well, same reason I can't watch Attack on Titan. It's just... It was like a Fire Force thing. Which you guys might like Fire Force. I don't. There's an anime. Hang on. There's an anime I gotta look up. I gotta look up. Hang on. Oh, here it is. This anime does like two things. I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna find its name because I'm tired of getting hit by copyright strikes and shit. Ah, fuck! It's not saying its name here. This one doesn't work. If I can find its name. If I can find its name. Okay, here it is. Uzumade. Let's see if it's in here. I haven't watched it. Ah, here it is. Alright. This anime is interesting for multiple reasons. Hang on. I'm gonna watch the whole thing, and I'm not gonna do it on stream. This channel's already had one copyright strike, and has already had one copyright strike. That's part one, and part two. My other channel is getting a lot of, not strikes, but claims right now because the playlist I used on the opener is being claimed by other people other than the developer of it. So it's giving me a headache. Anyway, this is the anime I was just talking about. It does two things that are interesting. Anyway, Misha's an elementary school girl who lives with her father, having lost her mother at a young age, and Yume has joined their house, and on top of being an unusually muscular woman, she also has an excessive love for the young girl. Basically, yeah. It's not it's not creepy as in like love, it's just adorableness. This not so heartwarming comedy starring a pervy maid. Okay, never mind, I was wrong. She's a Russian woman. She's super muscular, but the thing it does that catches me off guard is she's missing an eye and she doesn't wear an eye patch. I played parts of it. I wasn't able to get too far in it because I didn't own the game. Got a muscular character. I like muscular women. Motivates the hell out of me to lift weights. I work chest and biceps today. All right. But no, I haven't played all the way through Detroit Become Human because I didn't own the game. I actually own it now because it's on PlayStation, and I got the PSN Now account thing going. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Unfortunately, I can't play these episodes on stream because I've already been hit by enough copyright strikes and claims. Like hell, the little bits of me accidentally clicking on one may get me hit anyway. Like YouTube's really bad about this shit. Funny enough, I can't grow a real beard. Like the sides right here have like some peach fuzz because of its light and sparsed out. You can't see it. So I wanted to do like the Norse Viking look. Unfortunately, I can't. And right now, the reason why you see me wear a beanie so much is the sides of my hair is growing out and it looks goofy as hell. No, I took it as a compliment. I legitimately did. I am trying to learn to braid like strands of my hair on the sides every so often, so I took it as a compliment. It was just funny you mentioned it. Like, that's probably the most positive thing I've heard about my looks in a long time, so it made me actually kind of happy. So, because you don't watch my Jack Daily stream where I talk about this more often, at least you usually don't, I'm actually very self-conscious about my looks. I have a lot of self-hate built into it. Thor from Florida. I'm very self-conscious. I have a lot of self-hate about it because I've lived a lot of my life where my looks have been demeaned and built into it, and it just kind of self-fed. And then my time in the Navy, I got kicked out for being fat. And anytime I try to improve myself in the Navy, I got made fun of. Anytime I didn't, I got made fun of, so. Yeah, I got a dirty blonde look. I hate my frizziness, but whatever, I'll run with it. I can't do anything about it, really. Anytime you don't see me with frizz, it's either because my hair's pulled back or it's because it's wet. So right now the plan is this stream on this channel will happen every Saturday. We'll be talking about all the animes that I watched during the week, and I will take recommendations to add to my rotation because I've got time. Why self-hate? Because it's just ingrained in me. I'm trying to break it, but like one thing is my forehead. I have a massive effing forehead, and I'm semi self-conscious about it. Here, I'll actually bring this up. I'll bring this one up. I'll tell you about this anime and why it fucks with me. It's a good anime. Don't let me tell you it's not. But it fucks with me. Here it is. So this anime is good. Not let me tell you it's not. And I think it's actually technically not a anime because it's technically, I think, Korean. I could be wrong though. Anyway, I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. I'm going to tell you only about the first episode, and like I think the third episode. In the first episode, he is morbidly obese and considered so ugly his parents doesn't even want him mixing his laundry in with theirs. He's got two younger siblings who are considered adorable or hot or whatever. And the only person who gave him love growing up was his grandfather, who eventually passed, left him all of his stuff, which his parents tried to steal and they couldn't. So he's basically disowned from his parents. And after saving this one girl from probably getting assaulted, he finds out his grandfather was able to isekai into this other world where they have the whole leveling system. And after killing like this powerful ogre or whatever, he hits like level 300 to 400. And so he's able to level. He distributes his stats. And when he comes back to the real world, his body reconfigures to match it. So he becomes really muscular, really skinny, and super attractive. And because I have spent a long time, last 3 years, trying to create a version of myself that I think looks good, there's that demon in the back of my head who tells me that no matter how hard I try, no matter what I do, I will never be attractive in the way I want. And to be honest, the version of me I want is where I honestly feel like women look at me like they view me as attractive. No matter how muscular, no matter how much I lose weight, no matter how I find to style myself, I will never be attractive to women. That's what that voice tells me in my head. And there's an episode, in episode 3, he ends up becoming a supermodel by accident because he's just wandering through the mall and they needed somebody. They're like, "You're awesome, we're taking you." And of course, he slowly kind of builds a weird harem going on. But it is a good anime. But it, if depending on my emotional state, because I'm bipolar, it'll actually break me for a little bit. Like, I've had a couple of days where I watched it at the wrong time, and it just killed me. I was unfunctional for a while. So, but that's why. That's why I have a lot of self-hate. A lot of my life, I've had various people throughout my life, even people with positional authority over me, describe me as worthless because I'm just not attractive in one way or another, because I'm too fat, or this, or that, and the other. And being on camera, I've been able to deal with it a bit more, but the self-hate is still there. I still feel I'm too fat. I still feel I'm not muscular enough. I can't grow the beard I wanted. My frizzy hair, I don't like it. Although I'm starting to think of it as less as like frizzy hair, more like a lion's mane. So take that whatever you will. But no, that's just me being honest. Alright, I'm gonna start winding this down. I'm starting to lose my voice. I talk a lot more in here than I usually do on my streams. Alright, but yeah, the goal is probably around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm gonna try and stream This Week in Anime. Gives me time to watch the animes I want. And because all throughout the week I've watched the other ones. And I'll probably take notes on what I want to say. I'll try going forward. In this week, because I didn't realize this was a good idea until Thursday. And if you are wanting to catch me, that's when to do. Don't forget to subscribe, yada yada yada, and I'll keep the VODs up so you guys can watch them later. And if I'm being honest, I want to do this because it'll get me watch hours. The only reason this channel's not monetized is because I just don't have enough watch hours. My last couple of videos I've released have helped a lot, and I'm really happy. That actually really motivates me. So, if you want to do me a kindness, share my streams, share my videos. It would mean a lot to me, because I don't have it in me to do it. I honestly don't. I just feel it's intrusive. And that's a problem with my personality, is I don't want to be intrusive in other people's lives. But I appreciate y'all being here. Alright? I honestly do. Like when y'all show up for my Jack Daedalus streams, like when even if you're just here vibing, you say hello and don't say anything after that, it means the world to me. It honestly does. Because of my self-grained in hate, self-hate. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. I will see y'all in the next one.